Jordan Els here for talkSPORT MMA. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Mick Parkin. How's it going, mate?
All good, mate.
All good. It's obviously just what is it now, like 8 days till fight night.
Yeah,
What's this stage of camp look like for yourself? I know a typical fighter will be gearing up for a weight cut and thinking about that, but as a heavyweight, do you get a bit more leeway in terms of doing some extra training and preparation?
yeah. So I think my last spar was like Wednesday. I did some light kickboxing grappling rounds. It's all done now. I think I went in this morning and just drilled some nice. Just going through the motions. Like I said, I'm not cutting weight, so I don't have to like kill myself. Like I woke up this morning. I think I was like 266, so like a pound over, if that. So like I've just had Nando's there. I'm quite happy just to eat what I want now. Where the little fellas are killing themselves. So I'll train a little bit tonight, some light stuff, and then tomorrow. Really like a pad session, and I'm done really, just like ticking over really now. So yeah, everything's went well. I've trained, I've sparred hard. Like I said, this is like the tapering off now, as to say.
How are you feeling at this stage? Obviously, a long camp in the rear view mirror. We know you've been training with and how hard you've been training. Is it kind of just, looking back on a job well done and looking forward to the fight now?
Yeah, I've done. I think at the fight, like obviously, you're close to the fight. You're always like, oh, have I done enough? Have I done this? But I think I've done everything I possibly could to prepare for this fight. I've trained with some of the best guys in the world. I've like tried to improve as much as possible. I feel like I just every fight I just try and get a little bit better. Like this fight, sometimes I went to fights and I feel like, oh, it hasn't been the best camp, or I don't feel like I'm right there. Where I'm finishing off now, where I feel fit, I feel strong, and I feel like my techniques are flowing good. So it's looking up and then the fight. And then for all this to happen, then the fight in England, like no travel, and we just get trained at Manchester Tuesday. It's like just easy now, lovely.
Yeah, and it's all been going good so far in your UFC career as well. 3 fights, 3 wins. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, just like I said, it's crazy how quick it comes around. I think I got the Contender Series fight, won that fight, then got the UFC cut. 3 fights in the UFC, 3-0 in the UFC. It's crazy. It's went like a blink of an eye. It's my fourth UFC fight. In 10 Pro 1, just the time just flies over now.
Yeah, and it's 3 fights, 3 wins, but 3 decisions. Did that come as a surprise to you, or is that just a part of, stepping up and facing tougher opponents that they can hang around with you for longer?
Yeah, everyone's definitely like heavyweight. You just basically get what you're given on the local scene. Like you get a few hard fights, and then like a few people who are not necessarily that there to win. Maybe they're just there to like take part in the fight. While everybody in the UFC, they want to win, they're like high level. The 3 decisions that I felt comfortable in now. Obviously, I'm still learning, making loads of mistakes. Maybe that's something I should start pressing more, look for finishes. I feel like maybe I do hurt people in fights, but I let them off a little bit. Maybe the intent's not there. But it's just obviously in the back of your mind all the time. With heavyweight, the little gloves, you just don't have any punches off them at all. It's just like one punch changes the fight. So I'm always trying not to get hit.
And you stopped everyone before you joined the UFC, right?
Yeah, pro. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
was there anything that that changed for you in terms of stepping up besides the level of opposition? Do you feel like anything's changed? Whereas, why wouldn't them KOs come, or why wouldn't the stoppages come besides the level of opposition?
Yeah, that maybe it's me. To be honest, I had all these fights, and some of the guys I was finishing in like the first minute or whatever. Like I didn't really get a second round, so I was wanting to get like 3 rounds in Rebel just to think it to like prove that I could. But yeah, maybe it's a bit on my side. Maybe it's a bit staying a bit safe. Maybe it's putting that extra punch in while I'm like staying safe. I feel like most of my fights, I feel like I've won quite easily. Maybe he's like not coasted, but maybe I haven't pushed a little bit where I could have maybe got the finish. I've been happy to like outclass them on the feet or whatever it's been. So maybe it's just pressing the action a little bit more. Maybe it's just part for me really. Like I said, most people I fought usually they would just like give up or they weren't really there to win. Where now obviously people are obviously training the beaters and them are there just to like they're not there to show up and get beat by me. Them are there to beat me really. It's a bit high level, but yeah, I've definitely been training hard for this one. I definitely see a finish coming for this one.
Brilliant. And obviously, not a lot of heavyweights go into the UFC and get 9 rounds under a belt straight away. So obviously, I think that will, bear you well going forward. On to the next one in Manchester. As you said, it's very local to you. It's in the north. Happy about that?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. My debut in the UFC was obviously in London. That was like perfect to fight the home crowd. UFC London, a huge arena. Obviously, it's been the Apex since, which is good to fight in the Apex. But I've most of my fights have been there now. I don't think anything compares to a crowd. And obviously it's a home show, so it's a lot of like cheering for us. And then obviously Manchester being closer, the travel, you haven't got to like. It's cool going to America, it's mean going to Vegas, but I'm basically just sitting waiting for the fight. You're doing like a 12-hour flight or whatever, and you sit in the hotel room. You see the casinos and that, but I can't really like drink. You can't really enjoy the food. So like you're basically just waiting for your fight day. Well, like say I'm like in the house now. Like I said, I'll travel down Tuesday. It'll be nice and easy. Couple of days, perfect. And like I said, right in the doorstep's amazing. Just for people as well, fans coming to watch it. I said it's 2 hours, 3 hour drive for us or a train. But it's lovely to be up this part of the north and like 2 world title fights on it. So more fights are coming to the UK because before this, like you never got the UK cards, and if it was like one a year, now they might be pressing more. There's a lot of fighters now in the UK, and the cards are doing well. Because before this, I might have fought that once and never fought that again. So it's amazing to get like a second opportunity in such a short space of time.
Absolutely, and having them two champions is doing wonders
Yeah.
for the UK MMA scene. The one thing that if you are a bit of a downer, you would point out is the fact that it is on. You know, I think Tom and Leon will be fighting about 5 a.m. How does that impact your camp? Because obviously you'll be much earlier in the evening. Does it impact you at all?
So just judging by the UFC, like ESPN call, whatever it is, I've looked at that and it looks like I'm not early prelims, but I'm not like dead last. So it'll probably be like a 1 a.m., 2 a.m. thing. So like I fought at 12 before, that's not too bad. Obviously pressing two is getting a bit later, but no, I'm just training like normal really. I'm just stopping up a little bit later now. Like this week I've just been going to bed like 1 a.m. I did last night, the night before. It's easy to stop up. The more things trying to like lie in a little bit. Sometimes like the first night I lay until half night was amazing. This morning I was up at like 8 a.m. So hopefully I get used to it a little bit more. Just have like a little bit more of a lie in. But come fight me, I don't think it would even be bothers if I didn't. Sleep good. It doesn't, once you're there, like your nerves and your adrenaline get you through it. Potentially I'll just maybe have a nap, maybe like an hour or two during the day. I think, like I said, even like Tom fighting at 5, I think you should prepare for it. But if you did nothing and it just fought, I do think your adrenaline that will get you through it. So it is what it is. I understand why they're doing it, obviously because of the pay-per-views and like it's a big card, really. It'd be nice and early, but they say it's late, so it is what it is. Gotta get on with it.
And everyone's in the same boat. Your opponent too,
Yeah.
Lukasz Brzeski. Talk to us about him. For fans who aren't aware, what are you expecting from him on fight night?
So I think I've said this a few times now. I got offered him my very first UFC fight, but I think he was injured at the time, so the fight didn't happen. So I'd seen a little bit about him. I knew he'd lost a few in the UFC, and then he's just come off a big win in the last one. Maybe his losses were unfair to him, like his skill set, but I just think I do think I'm a lot better than him. But he's definitely tough and nails. He's more of a kickboxer, I would say. He's just tough. He's always in the fight. He's not going to like give up. Like he won't just give you in packet. Even when I've watched him, he's getting beat. He's always coming forward and pressing. So I think it'll be a hard fight. I don't think there's any easy fights now. I definitely think stylistically, like I do think I'm a lot better than him, but that doesn't always guarantee you a win. The better fight doesn't always win, especially at heavyweight. But I've prepared for him amazing. I do feel great. I think it's a great matchup for me. But it says, I think he's in the fight all the way. As long as he's in there, he's in the fight.
Are we expecting it to play out on the feet? You mentioned earlier you're looking for the KO. Is this as when you're envisioning the fight? Is that how you're getting your hand raised with the KO?
Yeah, I do think I can stop him. Obviously, I just prepare for the fighter, but like I've had fights where you've watched them and they've looked like, oh, they're a really strong wrestler, and you've got in there and they've just boxed with you, or they've boxed her and they'll try and take you down. So they can change it, but just going with his last fights, he looks like he's more of a kickbox stand-up guy and just presses high pressure forward. I think that plays into my style. I do think not getting finishes. I do think early on the rounds, I've hit people a few times and they've maybe stopped trying to hit me as much. I think then it plays off as like a longer distance fight. It's on me to press it then, but I do think I've countered some people with big shots and then them have went off. Hopefully Lucas, he keeps coming forward. I think that plays into my hands as well for a knockout.
Brilliant. And what's next for you? 4 fights, 4 wins. That and the heavyweight. It's always mentioned that it's not the most stacked division. So for your next fight, you plan to try like make that run towards the ranks. How do you want the rest of the year and 2025 to play out?
Yeah, so obviously all things go well this fight, no injuries. I'd like to fight maybe again like November time, something like that, November, December, get another one in. Yeah, I'm just taking my time. I feel like I've still got loads of learning to do. I say this, but again, it's like heavyweight MMA, like you said, there's not that many. I think 4 wins potentially puts us into the top 15, if not I do think it'd be a top 15 opponent, especially towards the latter end of the top 15. But you never know. I've seen some people like have a few wins and they still get like unranked opponents. I'm not fussed. I'll just see what the UFC offer. They've been quite fair with the matchups, as I said. All the matchups have been quite fair to me. Been competitive, but like they haven't went crazy. Offered us some like really high level guys straight away. So it's fair enough. Like I said, they might want to push me to the top 15. That would be great. Like, I'll take that. But it's on them really what them fancy. It depends probably on the results, the performance, and stuff like that. But I'm happy just to like take my time, or I'm happy to take the fight.
Of course, of course. And talk to me about the camp you've just had. I know we touched on it just earlier. Tom Aspinall's got kind of this heavyweight super camp going on. I was speaking to Francis Ngannou's coach, Eric Nixon, the other day, and he was saying he's envious to see all these big guys on the mat day in, day out. But your day-to-day, you are with Phil de Vries more than anyone else, if that's right.
Yeah, so obviously I'm Sunderland here, where Jim's at Sigham, TFD, with Andrew Fisher's our head coach. So me and Phil are there with every day. There's a guy from Middlesbrough, Paul Elliott, who trains with us like 3 or 4 times a week now, maybe more. He's from Middlesbrough, so he's quite close. So we've got maybe 3 stable heavyweights who are fighting there all the time. Maybe 5 of us in total who train, which is a good number really. You've got like just to get the bodies in. It's just different. The sport's so different. You can't. The techniques don't work the same for little guys as big guys. It's a lot different. Obviously, the cardio a lot different. It's a lot harder for the big guys. As I said, the grappling and stuff like that. So I just train at the TFT every day, and then close to the time, obviously Wigan. They've got the bodies. They've got like 7, 8 giant guys that have trapped and fighters from the UFC, from PFL stuff like that. They've got like a range of fighters. So I go down there in camp maybe 10 weeks, 8 weeks out, and I go down there usually twice a week, like a Monday, Tuesday, travel down, stop down there, and just use it. We'll still drill the techniques, but we're more sparring down there. There's a lot of bodies, so like there's Tom, wherever, jumping with fresh people. Me and Phil can mix it up. Paul will come down, we'll mix it up down there, and then we'll come back home, drill some stuff. Maybe if I've got stuck in a position down there, I'll speak to Fish and say, oh, I've got stuck in this position, and we'll drill some stuff. It's good because the techniques we're working on, Phil is there working them with us, so it's hard to get techniques in the class when you've done them with somebody. You'll do it, then you go, oh, it doesn't work this, because they know what's coming. So it's good to go down there and practice stuff that maybe them are not doing, and the same for them, they can practice stuff on us that them have been working on. So it's amazing. And like to have that many high level big guys, like I haven't been to many gyms really, but like Phil and that's been around, he's like, oh, it's probably one of the best mats in the world really for heavyweights.
Yeah, and you've kind of got the perfect setup as an up and coming heavyweight in terms of Phil's a world champion. He is one of the best grapplers about, and then you go and spend some time with Tom as well, who is probably the best striker in the UFC's heavyweight division. So the benefit for you for working with them guys, are you feeling it every time you're in the gym with them?
Yeah, like I said, it's amazing. I've got Phil, who's like giant. He's helped us so much with like, especially the grappling side of things and the wrestling side of things. To have that high level training part every day is amazing. And like on my doorstep, most people have to travel for that. Like we live 10, 15 minutes apart. That's amazing. And yeah, like to go train with Tom, obviously another world champion, who's probably the fastest heavyweight in the world. He's one of the best strikers. It's amazing just to train with them, like get a little bit of things, steal some stuff off them, train with them day in, day out, and just for confidence as well. Like if I fight a wrestler, like a grappler, I know they're not going to be as good as Phil. And then, like, I fight a striker, I know they're not going to be as fast or as good as Tom. So it's just like getting the confidence level. I just feel like going every fight like sky high. I'm just doing a little bit better with these guys all the time, and how good them are doing, and just keep pressing it, keep getting down, keep training. And like I said, it's good that the me and Tom are on the card together, and Modestus was coming down and training with us as well, who's also on the card. It's nice to all of us train together the camp, do all the sparring, do the weights, do the extra rounds together, the fitness stuff, and all fight together and hopefully get 3 wins.
Yeah, it must be great just having that kind of bond of somewhat everyone's going for the same date or everyone's on the same mission. And then hopefully, as you said, you'd all come away with wins on at UFC 304. I've got to ask you about Tom's fight in the co-main event. It's a rematch against Curtis Blades. You've spent some time with him in the gym. How do you expect it to play out?
Yeah, so like I think stylistically, Curtis Blades on paper is probably the hardest matchup for Tom, if I'm being more of a wrestler grappler. But I see Tom, he's amazing. Like wouldn't be surprised if he just knocked him out again in the first minute. Honestly, it's crazy how fast he is, and I think obviously Blades has done it once before and the injury happens. But like until you're in that with him, you don't realize like how fast he is and how good he is. So I think Tom's flying. He's trained really hard. He's always in shape. He's always training. He's always getting better. I do see him like finishing Blades. I just don't see how Blades will be able to get him down or even get anyone near him.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time today, Mick. I wish you good luck with the rest of camp. Obviously, not long left now. I'm fighting. I can't wait to watch your fight.
Right, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.